GIAA.TV now brings you more live coverage of more sports than ever before. Announcing GIAA.TV Lite with live coverage of swim, wrestling, cheer, and more. GIAA.TV Lite is the next best thing to being there. From one screen, you will hear the crowd, see the action, the scores, the stats, and more. With no play-by-play or instant replays, GIAA.TV Lite is half the price of our regular broadcast. Announcing GIAA.TV Plus. With all of your fan favorites, GIAA.TV Plus now adds volleyball, softball, all-star football, and more. Featuring all the play-by-play, instant replays, multiple angles, and more, all for less than the cost of 2 adult tickets to the event. Don't miss 1 second of the action all year long, only on GIAA.TV.
Welcome in, everyone, to another edition of the High School Scoreboard Show, GIAA on GIAA.TV, presented by the Beck Center. It's Thrift, it's Rich. It's another week 5. Can you believe that, in the books for high school football in the GIAA?
Thrift, we're already a quarter away of the season. I can't believe it's already week 5. We had some fantastic matchups in the GIAA tonight. And I can't wait to take a deep dive into all of it.
Yeah, I can't wait either. We are again presented by the Beck Center. You know what we do here now, that we got the Mallory and Evans Team of the Week.
Yes, we
do.
do.
We'll make that announcement in just a moment. We'll have Drew Butler on to do that. We'll see some of the highlights from that week, from that game last week that played out really well. And then we'll give you the updates from around the state right here, live from the Beck Center, GIAA.TV High School Scoreboard Show. I'm so glad to be able to do this. Thank you again to Commissioner Tommy Marshall, Clem Morgan, and the rest of the GIAA. And we love being your voices. And, man, I love this time of year. I love everything that what football represents. I just hate it goes by so fast, Richard.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, I really cannot believe we're already at week 5, man. We are, 6-7 weeks away from the playoffs. And before you know it, we'll be in Mercer, calling state championship games.
Yes, those are going to be November 20th, 21st, and 22nd. 8-man football and flag football are going to be on the 20th. It's going to be at Mount DeSales Academy, I believe. And then 5-Star Stadium, the home of Mercer football, for the single A, double A, triple A, and 4A classifications in the GIAA. And there are so many fantastic teams. And soon we'll have our rankings. And we'll kind of see where these teams are going to be, placed, when the season's over, to make that deep run to try to get to Mercer.
All right. Well, first things first, let's handle our business. Drew Butler, what do you got for us?
Hey everyone, Drew Butler back here once again to present to you the GIAA Mallory and Evans Team of the Week. As the Vice President of Business Development at Mallory and Evans, it's always a pleasure to be here to present the Team of the Week. And last week's Team of the Week, the Brookstone Cougars. Congratulations, Brookstone, on your 31-22 victory over First Presbyterian Day in a top-ranked matchup. These two teams might see each other again later on this season in the playoffs, but Brookstone, they moved to 4-0 to continue their undefeated season. Huge victory over First Presbyterian Day. Congratulations, Brookstone. You are the Mallory and Evans GIAA Team of the Week.
Drew, thank you so much for that. That was awesome, man, and great job by the Brookstone Cougars. It was number 1 versus number 2. FPD came in number 1. Number 2 team, Richard, was the Brookstone Cougars. They played at Brookstone. You're seeing the highlights now. Game went back and forth. It was a well-played contest.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Collier's team over at FPD, they're always disciplined, well-balanced on offense. Brady McHugh's fantastic, but I'm telling you right now, that's Sammy LeBoy, Mitchum Kelly, and the Broughton branch, and that Brookstone Cougars offense led by new first-year head coach Ian Edley have been off to an incredible start, and they got the win, and they are now the number 1 team in the GIAA, and heck, I even think they may have got another one here tonight as well.
Well, and they have another tough game next week when they take on Stratford Academy. This Brookstone Cougars team has looked fantastic so far, and they're well-deserving of the Mallory and Evans Team of the Week.
We'll come back here on screen now, Rich, and that video just does not want to play, but it's okay.
Yeah, we're doing the best we could to try to get that video.
We try to get the highlights up, but they were fantastic. By the way, if you can go back and watch the game on Georgia Alabama Sports Live right now, you want to see those Cougars take down FPD, but in what was a really well battled contest. Remember, FPD was the first Mallory and Evans Team of the Week, and then the second Mallory and Evans. Now Brookstone getting one, so now we have two of them facing off each other. That was pretty cool. All right, let's go back on and we'll talk about some of the scores, man. And first, let's take a break. When we come back from break, we'll talk about the scores here on the High School Scoreboard Show on GIAA.TV.
For the big, for the small, the short, and the tall. Peacemakers, risk takers. For the optimists, pessimists, exhibitionists. For long-distance love. For the far-sighted, nearsighted. For introverts and extroverts. For the thinkers and the doers. For old friends. Coca-Cola. For everyone.
Welcome back, everyone, to the High School Scoreboard Show on GIAA.TV and Thrift Barringer. It's Richard Holdridge. Week 5 is now in the books, and let's talk about that. And again, thank you to Drew Butler, Mallory and Evans, sponsors like them and what they mean to high school athletics. We are so thankful for their support of all the GIAA schools. This was a brilliant idea. Stan Whitlock, thank you again for helping orchestrate this, man. And this is our Brookstone winning the Team of the Week. We've also had Deerfield Windsor win the Team of the Week. We've had FPD win the Team of the Week. Can't wait to see who that's going to be next week.
Cannot wait
for the scores that happen tonight. Let's talk some of them. Monsignor Donovan. They take down Community Christian 60-12. How about that dominant performance?
Oh, great performance by Monsignor Donovan. 8-man football. And they took Community Christian out to the woodshed. I mean, that was definitely a high-scoring game for Monsignor Donovan.
Coming up, and then after that, we have Fullington Academy take down Chris Academy 48-0. Good win by Fullington. They go to 3-2 on the season.
Yeah, what a way for Fullington Academy to bounce back after losing to Georgia Christian last week. They're able to blank Crisp Academy, a small private school out of Cordele. You know, they're just rebuilding their program. But yeah, Fullington. I expect Fullington to be in the mix for the 8-man football playoffs coming up.
All right. Then we got Holy Spirit Prep. St. Andrews and Augusta Prep. St. Andrews takes down Augusta Prep on the road. St. Andrews goes to Augusta Prep and wins 24-22. So good win by St. Andrews. Westminster Schools of Augusta beats Covenant 40-0 was the final score. I know we have 47, but 40-0 is the final score. And Westminster with a big win there, Richard.
Apparently, Max Preps was wrong because they must have changed the score because I was just getting that off of Max Preps.
Yeah, well, it's okay. Westminster wins it 40-0 over Covenant. We got Strong Rock 4A classification. How about Strong Rock Christian? Quietly 4-1 to start the season, and they beat Tatnall Square 42-0. And Tatnall goes to 0-5, but Strong Rock goes to 4-1. Good win by Strong Rock.
I'm shocked. Tatnall was 7-3 last year. I know they lost a lot of seniors from their team. I know going up to Locust Grove, they got tired of going to Columbus because they were facing Pacelli, Brookstone, and Calvary. But this Strong Rock team, this is a team to look out for in a tough region with Brookstone, Pacelli, Westfield School, and Calvary. I'm telling you, Strong Rock is going to be the sleeper team in the GIAA.
All right, and I think so too, man. So Strong Rock, 42-0, and like you said, they got some big games coming up here. Let's go to 8-man football. Sherwood Christian, a defending champion. Holy smokes, 72 points by Sherwood, and they are off to a 4-0 start. They took down Stewart County out of the GHSA, 72-12.
Actually, Stewart County does not belong to the GHSA or the GIAA. They are a 8-man freelance team which means they're such a small school that they're trying to just fill an 8-man team. And we're familiar with Stewart County. We know the head coach there, and they're just trying to build up the program there. And that was a tough task to take on the defending 8-man GIAA football champions of Sherwood Christian.
Citizens Christian beats John Hancock Academy 35-6. They go to 3-2 on the year.
Yeah, great win for Citizens Christian. Another team that I expect to be in the mix for 8-man football. Remember, November 20th, Mount DeSales Academy, and it's going to be just great. And I love seeing 8-man football. They shorten the field. You have 3 offensive linemen. It's a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more high-scoring, but a great win for Citizens Christian.
Let's go to 4A. Calvary Christian and Flint River. Battle of undefeateds. Flint River in 1A, Calvary in 4A. The Knights go into Flint River, and Flint River, for the first time in 2 years, loses a regular season game 22-7. Big win for Emmanuel Brunson's team. Braxton Wilkinson was great. The defense was lights out, and they go into Flint River and win this by 15.
I am completely shocked that Calvary, they have, last time they went to Flint River 2 years ago, they lost 40-0. And Calvary, who only won 1 game last year, and it was a forfeit win, they have completely turned around their season. They are 4-0. This was really a defensive battle. It was 9-0 at the half, but Flint River's defense held Calvary to 22 points. The previous weeks, Calvary scored 49, 35, and 35 points, and Flint River, a very physical ground and pound defensive team, but Calvary has just got some weapons. They got a great quarterback in Braxton Wilkinson, and they got a good running back in Jamar Williams, and they're 4-0. And Flint River, they dropped to 3-1, but I think that Flint River is going to be one of the top teams in single A.
Stay in 3A, and we had probably the game of the week. John Millage Academy out of 3A goes to undefeated defending 4A champion Bullock Academy. 3-1 John Millage against 3-0 Bullock. And John Millage, I told you, they're back.
Don't sleep on John Millage.
They are back. They beat Bullock 27-18 in a classic. And John Millage, sleep on them all you want. That classification, Westfield, Deerfield, Windsor, John Millage, Valwood, that is going to be a bloodbath of a classification to get through to win a championship. But John Millage goes into Bullock and wins by 9.
I think what an impressive win by John Millage. This makes them, in my book, the favorites along with Deerfield Windsor. I think that John Millage can run the table and get to the 3A state championship, where they'll probably face Deerfield Windsor, even though there's still a lot of great teams in 3A like Frederica, Tifdaria, Valwood, Westfield. But man, 3A is loaded. And John Millage, remember, they were famous for that big win streak when they had 44 straight games, and they fell off a little bit, but they're back. And so you got to deal with it. You got to deal with John Millage because they're here to stay, and they are a force to be reckoned with in 3A.
Next, Athens Christian in 4A takes down Riverside Military 20-18. Athens Christian goes to 3-2 on the year.
Good win for them.
Gatewood beats Mount DeSales. 218 beats a 4A school, and Gatewood gets their first win of the season. They go to 13-10, Rich.
Yeah, it was a close defensive battle. Gatewood a couple of years ago won the 2A championship. Mount DeSales is a 4A school. So this is a big win for Gatewood to come out and beat Mount DeSales, one of those 4A schools. It's always in a tough region. They play tough opponents, but Gatewood was able to get the win. So great job.
How about Stratford Academy? Undefeated, played in the championship back in 2022.
Yes, they did.
Stratford has beaten some big-time schools, including Pacelli early in the year. Stratford takes down Frederica 28-13. They go to 4-0 in the season. Their running game has been sensational. And Stratford, Brookstone, FPD, Bullock, those are some of the top teams. Calvary undefeated to start the year. Strong Rock's 4-1. The 4A classification is not too slouch either.
By the way, I want to shout out Stratford's soccer coach, Ian Jones. He's been giving me score updates.
How about that?
Stratford. So thank you, Coach Jones. That's been great. Obviously, the soccer coach is invested in the football team because he's probably scouting maybe the kicker or something. But Stratford, big win, and guess who they play next week?
Who's that?
Brookstone.
Uh-oh.
Battle of Undefeateds.
And it will be at Stratford,
At
too.
Stratford. I'm going to have to text Coach Jones about that score update.
I'm already getting fired up. Vidalia Heritage and David Emmanuel. Vidalia Heritage wins 26-12. They go to 3-1, and David Emmanuel loses their first game of the year. Vidalia, we've had a ton of road teams win here on this week 5. Vidalia 26-12.
Yeah, big win in 8-man football. I know Vidalia Heritage. This is just a win that's really going to elevate their season when they get into the region games and where they try to find out where they're going to be seed-wise when it comes to playoff time.
Westfield School goes to Thrift area, and Thrift area wins a classic by 20-19. Westfield gets their second loss of the season. Thrift area goes to 2-2. So big win by Thrift area at home.
Yeah, remember last week when we were looking at the matchups and we were like, wow, this is an incredible matchup in 3A. These two teams are at the top of the level of 3A. I know Westfield School is in a 4A region with a lot of 4A teams, but man, Westfield School, they almost got pulled off the win. But Thrift area, I think that this is a win that's going to give them confidence going in when they're facing the likes of the 3A schools like Valwood, Deerfield, Windsor. I mean, Thrift area is one of those teams that is going to be there when it's all said and done when it comes to 3A playoffs.
For FPD, rebounds after last week's loss to Brookstone. They defeat Pinewood Christian at home 21-10. A good win by FPD and Coach Collier to get back in the win column.
Absolutely.
Richard?
Absolutely. FPD is still one of the favorites in 4A. And getting a win over Pinewood, I'm looking at the schedule to see who they play next. But, of course, they're going to have to play Stratford. They're going to have to play Tatnall. They're going to have to play Mount DeSales. They're going to have to play John Millage.
Yep.
John Millage is in their region. So, FPD's got everything in front of them. I still think they're one of the favorites in 4A because they have just been outstanding. They just slipped up last week against Brookstone.
Heritage gets their first win of the season. Congratulations to
Coach Levi Dunn.
Yeah, Levi, know him very well in his inaugural season. Been tough go around to start, but they got a good win. So great job by Heritage. Brookstone goes to Damascus and takes down Southwest Georgia 35-14. Ian Headley's team, who was just the Mallory and Evans Team of the Week, now goes to 5-0.
5-0.
And I kind of already have a feeling that game of the week next week, maybe in that 4A classification again, because of Brookstone being undefeated at taking on Stratford. But Brookstone, big win on the road.
Yeah, there's no question that game against Stratford Academy is going to be the game of the week. And Brookstone, Coach Ian Headley, his first year, they were down 8-0 in this game, but they were able to come back. Broughton Branch looked fantastic. Meacham Kelly had a touchdown reception. And Brookstone look. If you look at the schedule, Brookstone's got to play Stratford next week. Guess who's waiting in the wings 2 weeks from now? Their in-town rival, Calvary Christian, who might be undefeated going into that game.
Yeah, they might, Richard, and that would be a huge game coming up in 2 weeks. But first, they got to get past Stratford.
Yeah. You don't want to overlook any opponents. I know I get excited about, looking at the schedule down the road 2 weeks from now. But every coach, every time I interview coaches, they don't want to look ahead. And I get that. We kind of play the hypothetical game. I like looking at the future, but we got to focus on Stratford Academy. That's probably what Coach Headley is focused on right now. He's not looking at Calvary. But, yeah, just down the road, a nice, intriguing matchup just in the wait.
Yep. Westwood loses their first game of the season against Georgia Christian. They go on the road and get beat 29-14. They go to 4-1. Georgia Christian goes to 4-1 as well. And then Dominion Christian beats Cross Keys 27-6. Good win by Dominion Christian.
Cross Keys is a GHSA school, by the way.
And they go to 0-5, but Dominion Christian goes to 2-3. Briarwood. Last we had an update. They were losing Robert Toombs. We did not get a final score on that, but we did get one for Brentwood. And Adam Lord's team was also one of those team of the week. It's been FPD, Brentwood, and then it was week 3, Deerfield, Windsor. And last week was Brookstone. This is week 5. We'll find out next Tuesday when it's announced. But Adam Lord's team goes to 5-0. They beat Thomas Jefferson 51-14.
Great win for Coach Lord and Brentwood, the defending 2A champions, taking on Thomas Jefferson, which I believe they're single A. But Brentwood got everything in front of them. I really like this Brentwood team, and they're looking really good so far, and they could possibly repeat.
Yeah, they can, man. So great win by the Brentwood as Brentwood goes to 5-0. And now, Richard, that is all the scores we got here so far. We'll take a break. When we come back from break, we're going to talk about some of the big games for next week. And we did not do Thursday, so
there was no Thursday games.
None like last week when we had Bullock Academy take on Robert Toombs. And we already did do Fullington, Richard. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll preview next Friday here on the GIAA High School Scoreboard Show, presented by the Beck Center on GIAA.tv.
Imagine a life-changing injury. Imagine the fear and unknown. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team, the only physicians in the area with advanced certification in orthopedic sports medicine, treats sports injuries with innovative techniques. The Houston Clinic has helped nearly 1 million athletes live without pain. Imagine getting back in the game. Imagine the best game of your life. The Houston Clinic Sports Medicine Team.
Back, everyone, here to the GIAA Scoreboard Show presented by the Beck Center. Let's talk about some of the games for next week. No Thursday games, man. One of them being Brookstone and Stratford. Battle undefeated, probably top 3 teams, top 2 teams in the state right now. I can't wait to be able to watch that one. It is at Stratford next week at 7:30. That should be a lot of fun, Rich.
Yeah, we've been to Stratford. It is a state-of-the-art campus. I love going there. Obviously, they're the home of the soccer championships. But Stratford Academy, a team that, they've had a rivalry with Brookstone. They've beaten Brookstone at their place. Brookstone has beaten Stratford in Macon. I can't wait for this game. This is going to be just an amazing game. Looking forward to it.
3 other games. How about Westfield hosts FPD? That should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
First Presbyterian versus Westfield. How about Bullock Academy going to Strong Rock? That could be a lot of fun. Is Strong Rock a contender? Or they just got off to a decent start because of schedule may not be as tough as some of the others? We're going to find out.
We will find out.
Bullock Academy is a team that obviously we saw win a state championship last year. And Richard, how about this one? Brentwood.
I was going to say that.
5-0.
You took it out of my head. I was going to say that.
On John Millage, 4-1.
Oh, man.
The number 1 team in 2A taking on one of the top teams in 3A. That should be a lot of fun. That's at 7:30 as well. We also have Deerfield, Windsor, and Terrell Academy facing off against each other. Deerfield going to Terrell. This is an incredible slate of week 6.
Big-time rival. Yeah.
In GIAA.
How about this one? Athens Christian and George Walton. You've got Athens Christian, George Walton out of Monroe, not too far. These are 2 big-time rivals.
Yep.
I can't wait for that. Bethlehem Christian taking on Loganville Christian.
Yep.
Man, it's just a slate of games that I'm just getting excited about, and I cannot wait for week 6.
No doubt about it, man. But again, thank you to Mallory and Evans and Drew Butler for their team of the week in Brookstone. I got several names for this past week, but I don't think anybody's bigger than what John Millage did going into Bullock and winning on the road against one of the top teams in 3A and in 4A and the defending champion. That was a massive win.
There's some really good candidates this week to be the Mallory and Evans team of the week.
And I can't wait to see that video. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Facebook, GIAAsports.org. GIAAsports.org. That is the name of the website that you can find all the information, all the scores, the rankings, the brackets, whatever you can think of, rules. They have it at GIAAsports.org. Such an easy website to maneuver around. That's our go-to thing, being the voices of the GIAA. So go to GIAAsports.org and make sure to go to GIAA.tv because that's where all state championship games are going to be. Can you believe in a month, Richard? We got volleyball that's happening. That's going to be in shorter
up in Rome.
And we're going to have that on October the
10th and 11th.
Yeah, October 10th and 11th. And the next week, October 16th through the 18th, Richard, we're going to have the softball state championships at South Complex. And then coming up in November 20, 21st, 22nd, we got 8-man flag and all-star game. And then we got 1A, 2A, 3A, and 4A the rest of the week. So 3 days of state championship football. So all that you can find cheerleading as well on GIAA.tv. Well, Rich, any other final thoughts as we get out of here on this late Friday night?
No, just another great show here for the high school football scoreboard show, and let's go get them for week 6.
Can't wait for next week. Should be a lot of fun. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the High School Scoreboard Show presented by the Beck Center on GIAA.TV.
This copyrighted broadcast, presented exclusively on GIAA.TV, is copyrighted by the Georgia Independent Athletic Association, a division of the Georgia Independent School Association, for the private use of our audience. It may not be retransmitted, reproduced, rebroadcast, or otherwise distributed or used in any form without the express written consent of the Georgia Independent School Association.